Alrighty, g'day everybody. Today we have a tutorial on how to fix up a messy alpha band in a raster image. Now I'll show you exactly what I've going on with this particular image and we'll see if it lines up with the issue that you might be experiencing. So for some reason the values of, let's just change this to alpha. For some reason the values of the alpha band in this particular image, once I turn it back on, aren't sitting in either 0 or 255. And I know that for some people that's desired, that they want, you know, sort of a ramp of alpha values between 0 and 255, but for most people they want their alpha band to either be 255 or 0 and nothing in between. Whereas this particular image, as you can see here from me sampling these values, we've got 3, 250, 254. That's not right, you know. For a regular image it shouldn't be all glitchy and whatever the hell is going on here. There should be alpha values being either 0 or 255. So the way we're going to sort this out is we're going to use some Python code which can be found on, I believe it's Stack Exchange, Stack Exchange, I believe it is, and I'll put it down in the description. But basically what should be in the description of this video is this code here, which is some code which we'll go through, and basically it will reclassify the alpha band to either be 0 or 255. And at the same time it's going to go through and make sure that any values in the RGB bands that have an alpha value of less than 127 are going to be set to 0. So basically the only thing that we really need to change in this code, or at least that you'll need to change, is the directories where you have your image. This is where my image is sitting. A directory where you're going to be holding the bands when they get split out by this code in a second, as well as an out folder. So let's go ahead and type those in here. I might just do this manually. So we're going to have C temp, I think it's in. So that's going to be our input folder. Our band hold folder is going to be C temp, is it bands or band? Band. And our output folder is going to be C temp out. No worries. Great, so that's the only things we need to change here in this code, and we're just gonna go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, what the fuck? Oh, sorry guys, that's my mistake. I have two temporary folders because I've been doing a few different processes over amount of time. Let's try this again and see what happens. I think that worked. Alright, that was pretty quick. Let's see, because it's only a small image, so let's see what we get here. So the it gets a little bit confusing with these names, but just to double check that we've got the right one, what you should see is that in the information, there it is, it's a VRT file, a virtual file. So we're going to untick everything else just so we don't get confused on what's going on. So this is our output, and what we're also going to do is turn off our stretching just so we don't have that weird warm color going on, and there it is. So let's just double check that this has worked. If we go ahead and sample the values, there we go and sample the values of this VRT that's been created, you notice within the image you've got various RGB values. You can see it down here, various RGB values, and the alpha band is always 255, but then outside the edge of the image you can see we've got no data in all bands, and that's great. Now when we go ahead and save that out, it's going to basically sort out that no data, so it instead becomes 0 values. We'll see that in a second. So what I've done just now is I've right clicked on the file, saved as, export as a rendered image. We're going to save it in here as alpha band fixed. Save that there. That's the coordinate system we want. And what I do recommend is default. number of threads for big TIFF if safer. This might be important if you're exporting a big TIFF, but this is a small one, so it doesn't really matter. Let's export this. That was super quick, alpha band fixed. And what you'll find in the final exported image layer is that you've got alpha band value of 255 in all of the colored areas, and then outside in the space you've got values of 0 in the RGB bands, as well as the value of 0 in your alpha band. So that's basically what we're after. We've done what we were wanting to do, which was make sure the alpha band is set either to 0 or 255. So that's fantastic. Just a little side note, something that I discovered: if this is involved in some sort of mosaicing process that you're doing, where you're stitching multiple images together, what I have found is helpful is if you have two images that don't match necessarily in their sort of color, you can do things like adjusting the gamma, or adjusting, for example, if you decide the color, the image looks too blue, you can adjust the maximum values of the red band, for example. Like the color was looking, like the image was looking too cool, for example, you can then make it warmer by adjusting that. If you're then using this in a mosaic, that's a handy thing to adjust, and then save it out again as a rendered image before you then go and put it in your mosaic. So it's a sort of a way of color matching aerial imageries that don't quite match in terms of the color scheme. So anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Let me know if you have any dramas or any questions about that, or any issues with the code. It's basically just code that you need to paste into a Python script. And that's pretty much it. Good luck.